group. I want to show you how to group data and to identify outliers. I'll start with identifying outliers in your data set, and then I will do like how to do grouping of data so that you can convert data to this data set. So as indicated, the best thing to start with when you're doing data cleaning is, first of all, convert your data set into table format so that you can have the first row there as the headers, and then from there, then you can be able to proceed with data cleaning. So first, we will start with identifying outliers. So I will identify outliers in the edge. And for this, since I'm interested to say that I wanted just only to have analysis for only youth who are between the age of 18 to 35. So for example, if those are the anybody outside that category is an outlier, then I will use the if function. First of all, I would use conditional formatting. So I will show you how to use conditional formatting. Then I will show you how to use the if function. So conditional formatting, you simply select the column that you want to format, and then you go to home. Then you go here to conditional formatting, you click on it, and then you say highlight cells rule. So you use highlight cells rule, and then here you go for between. So you want between to format conditional formatting for those who are between the age of 18 and 34, so and 35. So for example, these are the ones that you are interested in, and then you can select the color. So I would say, for example, these ones are green fill, dark green fill, means that these are the people that are supposed to be in this data set. So with that, I can easily now go and sort by color, and then sort the color that I'm interested in. Sorry, I sorted, but this way you'll be able to see the ones that are above at the top. So everybody else is outside the this all from 13 to the end are outliers. So you have like 39 of them are outliers. I'm checking, so I'm checking down here to see the count. So quickly you can see the count down here, the bottom of the screen there. And of course, I can also see the count from, I'm just selecting the last cell, clicking upwards and downwards so that I can select this. Those ones are green, and I can see 11 of them are between that category that I'm interested in. So I can just undo the sort so that I can go undo the sort by just clicking undo until it's back to how it was. So the best thing is I did sorting, but the best way is to filter by color and select the color that of interest. So this way you can copy your data set and move it to another, so and move it to another cell and say these are age. I can rename this age 18 to 35 underscore 35, because renaming Excel cells, you cannot use the dash, so you have to use underscores to or spaces just to show to name your data set. So okay, I forgot to include the headers. I can just go back quickly and include the headers in my selection. Select the headers. So these are the people I'm interested in. If, for example, I was only interested in those that are above, that are between the age of 18 to 35. And this is how I do it using conditional formatting. I'm going to do the same using if function. And this one is better. You see, conditional formatting, you can only, if you're only extracting a certain data subset of the data, and you want to basically work on that one. But for example, now if if I'm I want to keep my data set, my original data set, and still work on identify guys who are between the age of 18 to 35 as below 18 and above 35 as outliers, I would use the if function, and it's simple. I'll just say if uh, select the cell age, the first cell C2, is less than, so I say less than strictly because 18 is included. So I'll use the less than sign, 18. Then I would say, or simply I can say, yeah, if it's simple because I'm entering in 18. So if A is equals or greater than 18, right? If A is greater than 18, so this is I think the best thing is if and, if and. So if and helps you to kind of like have the simple group in between the zero to say 100, but you just want and meaning 18 so that you can have like the groups. So if and a, C2, I can just select it. When you're doing Excel, you don't have to write the cell, just click on the cell. Is less than, it is greater than or equals to, sorry, greater than sign, shift, greater than or equals to 18, comma, that's and, the and, like meaning two conditions, then the same cell is less than or equals to 35, right? You close that. So it says, if that is the case, then you can say, for example, you can use the word, this is a valid piece of data. Otherwise, that is an outlier. Otherwise, if it's not between the age of 18 to 35, then you can call that outlier, close, and press enter. So simply what means anything that is not, you can see, okay, you can see the ones that are here, the ones that are between 1835, like the ones I have highlighted, they've been written valid here. They have, like, they've been identified as valid. They've been identified as valid. Everybody else is, and to quickly show you, and now I'll use pivot table to quickly show you this column. I'll call it outlier column, outlier check. Yeah? I can call it outlier check. So that now I can use now pivot tables to show insert. Now we can insert pivot table. No, so the good thing with, as I mentioned, the good thing with putting your data set into table format, you do not no longer have to be selecting it every time you're doing something. So now I'll just say insert pivot table. I would say have it in a different sheet. So here you can select, you can have it in the existing. I think let me show you in the existing sheet so that you can now come here and click here and click on a cell. So that you can just show it, because I'm just showing it in the existing sheet, and say okay, because you're doing data cleaning, you want to be seeing. So now we want to see outliers and see how many of these outliers are there. So you can see now here I've used count because you're counting the number of outliers. So, and as mentioned, using the conditional formatting, we had 11 outliers, and we had what we had 39 that are not they are valid. I mean 11 valid, and then we had 39 that are outliers. So now in the same, using the same format, I would come, if I wanted to identify, just have that the data set that only has 1835 and extract it, then I'll come and check outlier and only have valid, and then I'll just copy this data set into a different sheet, and I'll copy it in the same sheet that I copied this other one, so that we can see that it is similar. You can cross check to see that it is similar in order. It's only that this one had an extra column that says outlier. Now the good thing of using the Excel formulas, I'm click inside the table, Control Shift L just to remove the filters, Control Shift L to take the filters back. So basically, this is how you can use. And the good thing is with Excel, now you can have this. If you continue cleaning this, if I, if maybe I was wrong here and this was supposed to be 21, I'll click on this 21 and it will automatically turn this into valid. And then when I go to data and refresh, it will also update the pivot table and have 12 and 39 instead of the other way around. Let me just undo to just keep the data set as it was. Back to that. Now, the next thing that I wanted to show quickly was, so this is outliers. The next thing I want to show is to have categories. And my interest is, for example, we have this category of the data is between, we have data and we want to categorize into three categories. It's the same approach that I took here, but this one was only for two categories. A category of interest and otherwise. For example, if you want to, and this is how you can use these categories to identify outliers. Now, for example, if I want to have to know how many people, maybe to group my data, categorize my data or group my data. That's another word of saying it. Then I can say age group. No, not yes. Let me use age group. Age group. But for age group, for example, I have age here, right? And I want to have age group. And in these age groups, I want to say if somebody is 0 less than 18 or missing less than 18, 18 to 35, that is a youth. Then I would say something like 35 to 60, that is somebody who is still working. And then I would say somebody like 65 and above as somebody who is no longer working, or an old person, for example. I would say that. But I'll come here and first of all check my data. My data has from 10 years to 104 years. Yeah, so you can see here, like I can quickly check. Oh, the people above. So I'll come here, click on that, and say filter, not necessarily by color, but filter number of filters, and then I want to see the people are above 100. So I'm just trying to see, people greater than 99. Anyone who is greater than 99. Greater than 99, because I'm interested to see who is in my data that is above 100, and quickly I can use it. So this is how to also to use filters to be able to identify. It's the same process that we're doing, but now using filters. And when you've already grouped your data, for example, now we did outliers for C, for this the same cell. I can also use filters to come here and say filter number filters, and then you say filter between, where is it? Filter between, yes, between 18, right, to 35. 35. So this is another way. So whichever way that you feel is comfortable with you, and in the same way of using filters directly there without necessarily doing conditional formatting, is also giving us the same, outcome. So this is basically to be able to extract certain data. But yeah, this is another way of dealing with working with different ways to identify outliers, selecting a subset of the data and putting it, scoping it, putting it in a different sheet, maybe for further analysis and things like that. Now, to do age group, and I've said I just wanted to see, that one, the people who are above 100, and I just used filters to do that. But now to do age groups, I would use the if function. I would say as equals if um, uh, this cell C1, that is age, is equals to, because we notice that here there are no blanks. First of all, it's always good. Let me escape. It's always good to check for blanks. Yeah, and as I mentioned the other day, you can just, if the list is too long, you just say blank, and it says no matches, so you just cancel and say there are no blanks. So the data, and I've also checked to see the best way as well is to, you can always come here and say you want to see the maximum. So I can use the formula to just see the maximum value as well, because maybe you don't want to go, it's a long list. So you go to the end by just clicking shift and down arrow, and then you select like that, and then you see the highest value, maximum value is 104. So it's another way of just checking the maximum value. If I want to see the minimum value as well, let's say equals, so I'll write equals minimum value, and it's another way of checking your data to ensure that you don't have anybody. And for example, if you're actually doing, for example, surveys, and part of the consent situation is that you're not supposed to interview somebody who's above, below 18 without consent. So you can check and see, oh, there's somebody who is 10 years. Oh, but anyway, no worries. We're going to check the age group to see if there's anybody who is above below 18. And those people will go and now check if their consent, for example, was collected properly, because they are supposed to be, their consent is supposed to be given by somebody who is in charge, I would say in charge of them, but the right word is, like, for example, a parent should give consent for you to be able to interview their child, or a teacher. So somebody who is in charge of that child at that moment. So anyway, let me show you how to do these age groups. Okay, is equals if this cell of age is less than, strictly less than 18. So I've only put less than, the sign less than 18. Then I would say this person is supposed to be less than 18. So I'll just write less than 18. This is what will be shown. And then now the second one, because there are two levels, less than, greater than or equals to 18, and less than or equals to 35. So this one is a youth. I would say if, and then I'll just run another level of if, and now I'll add and this cell is less than or equals now to 18. 18 is included here, or this cell is greater than or equals to 35. Then then I'll close it and say this person is 18 to 35 years. You can always write years, but I'm just saying, giving categories. So, and then I'll do another level of if and, yeah, this person is less or equals, no, is greater, yes. No, is less than 30, no, is less than, oh, so this one is greater than or equal, if less than, because we want greater than, if and is greater than, I did it the wrong way, is greater than or equals to 18, kumuka, yeah, greater than or equals to 18, and then this one is less than or equals 35. Less than or equals 35, then 1835. If and this age group, now is greater than 35, because 35 is not included. 35 is not included. So it's greater than 35, and the same cell is less than or equals now to 60, right? Now this is at 36 to 60. Now that is somebody is also, we can say in the gen X or something. Then we will say, we close this and say this person is between the age of 36 to 60. To 60. Remember, I'm putting the closing remarks, the opening and closing signs there. And then the final if, I will not put and, because it's just greater than 60. Greater than 60. So now I'll say now if this cell, yeah, is greater than 60, let's say over 60 years. Over 60. I think I can put years to make it look nice. And then close. Yes, I've closed properly. Rest. So when you're closing these ones, you usually check, they usually do like, you notice they usually like highlight, so that you know how many closing sign you're supposed to put. So here 30, 60 to 30 years. Uh, that, so it's 35 to years less than 18 years, and this way, and then you press enter. So you would see anyone like this one is 91 is over 60 years. This one is 24 is between 18 and 35 years. This one is 104 over 60 years. Let's look for somebody who is yes, this one is 13 and 14, they're less than 18 years. Now I will do the same now. I'll go to pivot, insert my pivot table so that I can be able to see the categories. I'll do it in the existing sheet. Click on this arrow here and then click on a cell, like a cell here, and then press enter and then say okay. Now I will now come and see, oh, my table did not update. Okay, best. So what I can always come here and refresh. Yeah, have you seen? I've refreshed. There's a refresh icon under what's the refresh icon usually under pivot analyze, pivot table analyze. Yeah, there's an icon up here, just above where my cursor is. It says pivot table analyze. So usually, when you get there, you can always refresh so that age group appears, because whenever you're updating your data, your table, yeah. So now I've clicked age group, and then I want to, you click on this age group again, drag it, place it on values. It says count of age group. Now you can see out of the 50, you can see here 18 to 35, you have 11. So you have 11 people that you need to check their consent, whether they are actually, given by their parents or their teachers. We have people who are 36 to now, I have people who are less than 18 and we have people. Now, if you look at these ones are not ordered nicely. So what I usually do is order them manually. Click on less than 18, want them to be at the top. Click on it, bring your cursor to the end, you see the plus sign, and then drag it to the top. Then we have 1830. Now it's organized nicely. Less than 18 and 1835, 36 to 60. And because automatically they usually use that's the alphabetical order or, order. But then now we order it nicely. So that, now if I want to see the percentage, then I will just put here is equals this 5 divided by the whatever the end there, and then now this is interesting. I would have to put a dollar sign just before this so that I can just drag, because the dollar sign makes sure that if when you're dragging your formula downwards, it does not okay, let me just make the error. Oh, sorry, is equals so that I can show you what I mean. You click here, divided by here, and then press enter. You see, this is 10%, and drag it down. This is what happens. You'll see errors. Yeah, it will only pick. Anyway, let me show you. You're doing it directly on pivot table is not very nice. The best thing is just copy it, uh, and then paste special, then save values so that you remove the, it becomes like, yeah, save values. So it becomes, and then you can see nicely here, age group. If maybe you wanted to send this table to your supervisor, and then say here, call this frequency. You want to send this table to your supervisor and tell them, and then percentage, percentage of those people. Maybe you wanted to send this to your supervisor, so that they can know among those people interviewed who is where. And then now you do click that divided by total. So you want the percentage. But then I'm saying if you click on it and just drag downwards, this is the error it makes, because it goes, okay, yes, let me show you. It makes this error. And then I'll show you, because it might have many categories. See, now this one says divided by 0, because automatically they move like that. You can see the red one here down here. It keeps on moving. But if you want to lock that cell, because that is the reference cell, then you put a dollar sign. Let me just double click so they see how I put the dollar sign. You put a dollar sign on that L20 where there's shift L24. where there's 50. So I'll put a dollar sign, press enter. Now, if I drag it now or double click, okay, it doesn't work. Drag it now, it will do it. It will not have the okay. I put the dollar sign on. Oh, I also need to lock actually the 24. Another dollar sign on the L and the two. So it locks that cell. Yes, it locks that cell. So that cell does not move it on the formula. Yes. Now you can see everything is okay now. You can see if I double click here, you'll see it is 11 over 50. Yeah, so this, and then now you change this. Remember, this is in decimal points. Now you come here and click on the percentage icon to see that now this is percent. And then maybe you want one decimal point, increase the decimal point, one decimal point. You see, it's actually very clear. Yeah, it doesn't have, because it's 50, doesn't have any decimal points. So there's no need of putting 0.0. But usually if you want to put one decimal point for accuracy, you can always include the two decimal points, or you can remove them now by clicking there. So these are the percentage, but you don't need the 100%. You can remove that so that it's blank. And this is what you report. So you can report the people who are between the age of less than 18 years, there were 10% of them. So the highest percentage were people who are over 6 years here, and that's how. So I think this ends our conversation today. I will set up another call tomorrow. I will share this on YouTube, Jamboree Consulting. Thank you very much.